Hello everyone, I'm going to show you how to use the variation management process in Zoho CRM using our exclusive widget. So I'm going to start in this project for Richard's Construction, and in tickets I've already prepared a variation ticket. So if I open that ticket up, this contains information about my variation, and I'm just going to click on variation status, click on new variation to send it down to CRM. Now I only need to fill these top section in, but if I press refresh, there we go, it's pulled it back, it's updated the title with the variation ID V1926. It's also updated the second section of the variation fields with the variation ID, and it's also put the CRM link in. So if I copy that link, I can now go into Zoho CRM and have a look at the variation. So there we go, we're now down in Zoho CRM, and there's the variation that's being created. And all the information from the project ticket has automatically been populated, including a link back to the project ticket. Now I'm going to start by opening the Manage Variation widget. Now the Manage Variation widget is dynamic, which means it has lots of features and functions, but it will only display what's relevant to your business based on your system configuration. So for example, we've got down the bottom here tabs, and in these tabs I can see my production items. You will only see this if you're using job instruction sheets and production items. I can also see sales items. Again, you'll only see these if you are using the Create Sales Items widget. Retainers, you'll only see that if you've got the retainer invoice features, and credit notes, you'll only see that if you've got the payments module. Up here under share options, I can also choose to share this variation with the portal, and again you'll only see that if you're using our custom portals. So you can still use the variation management widget, and anything your business does not require will automatically be hidden. Now I'm going to start up here with these fields at the top. Now here I've got my variation status. So the first thing that I'm going to do is change that to under review, because we're now looking at the estimate. I'm confirming that it requires client approval, and this category field here is a custom field. I'm going to select for mine that it's a release. I'm going to say I want to share it with a customer, and I could now just click on save and stay in the widget. Now I'd like to acknowledge this variation and send that information back to Zoho Projects. So I'm going to jump into follow up here, and I'm going to use this little green button. And there I've got some templates set up with comments. Now if I just open up one of those comments for you, just so you can have a look how easy these are to set up, there's a little module in the background called comments. And here I've got comment as a template, and you can just pop some notes in. So if I go back to my variation widget, I can click on here, variation acknowledged, say use that, and it just drops the comment in there. So it eliminates any problems with spelling or grammar errors, and I don't have to sit there typing the information. I can choose my next follow-up date, and I'm going to push those comments to the inquiry, the job, and sync them back to Zoho Projects. So if I click on save, there we go, and I'm just going to jump into the project so you can see what's happened. And we'll just refresh that ticket, scroll down, and there we go. We can see the comment has automatically been entered. Now you need to designate who in your business is going to take ownership of that comment, as Zoho Projects cannot allocate it based on the user. So in our business, we've chosen Marco is in charge of managing the variation comments. So if we pop back in here, now we're going to jump across here to the inquiry details. Now under inquiry details, I can either link an existing inquiry or create a brand new one. I'm going to choose to link an existing inquiry, and that's going to pull through the inquiry information, and I can also update and pop in some more details. Click on link inquiry. My variation is now linked to this inquiry. If I click on here in sales items, I can see all the sales items connected to the same job. So if this variation involves cancelling an existing sales item, as long as the sales item is not closed or cancelled and it's sitting in open, then I can still cancel it. And I'm just going to jump into the sales item and show you what I mean by that. So in the sales item, there is a field here called Sale Item Stage, and it can either be open, closed, or cancelled. So as long as the sales item is not closed or cancelled and it's sitting in open, then I can still cancel it. You can have your own custom item statuses here, which can then automatically update your stage. So if I jump back to the widget, I can see all of the sales items here. They've not been closed or cancelled. So if I want to tick on a couple of these, I can click on to cancel them, and that will automatically move them into the credit note tab. Now these sales items don't have any payments against them because they're just test records. But if they did have invoices paid, I could select the entity, tick on the select button, and then generate the credit note. It's not going to allow me to do it on this one because it's going to say there's no value in there because that's automatically pulling through the invoices paid connected to those sales items. Now I'm going to jump right over here to the related records. Okay, and as you can see, here's my inquiry that's connected, and I've also got the BOQ estimate plus a link back to the project ticket. But I'm going to click straight from here into my BOQ estimate and create the variation items that I want to add to this job. So using the Add Recipe widget, I'm going to now create a quote for the additional items. So I'm going to go to Templates, and I'm going to choose some Build a Train templates. There we go. I'll just pick one of those, click on Next, choose my rates. So there we go. I've now got 2 recipes related to this variation. The first thing I'm going to do is click on this little icon here. I can actually connect my variation. Now, if I wanted to do an internal variation and discount all the line items in this recipe, I could click on this little button, and you can see there, it's applied 100% discount on this recipe. I'm not going to do that, so I'm going to untick this, click on Save, and the 100% discount's disappeared. Okay, you can see under each line item, it's popped my variation ID in front, so I can identify which items relate to this variation. Now I'm also going to use the little options feature over here to choose what's been included and excluded. I'll jump down to this second recipe, and I'll just link this one to my variation as well. Click on Add to Estimates, and I've now prepared the quote for the variation. There we go. So if I just go back to my variation widget, so I'm going to open my variation back up. And I can see over here on the left hand side my recipes and my 4 BOQ items have already been connected to the variation. Now when I go into the variation widget, I've got this new tab called BOQ items. So if I click on that, there's the 4 BOQ items, giving me the subtotal, tax and grand total values. So if I click on calculate the pricing, that's going to update the pricing details tab here. And if I just save and close that, you'll be able to see in the module record, down here, the figures have also been updated. And what we're going to do is go back into the widget, and we're going to raise a retainer invoice. So we're going to jump into this tab, the retainer, and in here we're just going to pop in that we want to do 100% invoice. It grabs the amounts. I'm going to put payment due immediately, choose my retainer product, pull through my description from the variation, and I could click to automatically send it, but I'm going to go create the retainer, and there we go, there's the invoice. Now if we just jump back to the Manage Variations widget, for those people using the portal that need to get approval on the variations before they can proceed to an invoice, we can use this blue button called Generate Mail Merge. We click on that. That's now going to talk to Zoho Mail Merge and generate a PDF document with the variation details. So if we save and close that, and here you can see in this field variation proposal, there's now a PDF that's been automatically attached. So if I click on that, there's a copy of my variation with the line items and my options that I included and excluded. Now if I want to sync that to the portal, I would update this field Share Options to Share with Client. If we just jump into the portal now and have a look at what that looks like. And here we are in the portal. Now remember, you can hide or show as much as you want in the navigation through the website portal module in CRM. So if I was to turn off all these other navigations, and I'll just sync the changes, there we go, the navigation is reduced, and here is our variation. So in here, I can download the same PDF that I showed you in CRM. So that instantly syncs to the portal. Here I can click on the link that can go to one of the manuals. It could go back to Zoho project tickets, wherever you want that link to direct to. That's just pulling from your CRM. And over here in the view matrix, I can see the summary of variations on this client's account. And finally, if I click on this update button, I can now decline, say I'm undecided, or I'm going to approve it. Click on submit. So if I go back to the CRM system, open up my variation, you can see now that has come back as ready to process, as the variation has now been approved. And down here in the client status, it knows who was logged in, who clicked on approved, and it's pulled in a copy of that comment. Once you're ready to proceed with this variation, you just proceed with the normal process of convert to quote. The variation process also works with standard quotes as well as BOQ estimates. With standard quotes, when you go into the Manage Variation widget, instead of seeing the BOQ items tab, you will see in here quote items and all of your items from a native quote. Well, that's the variation management process. Thank you for watching.